Hi, I'm Fifi, and this is Going Deeper with the Lord. It's Monday. On Mondays, I share the things that the Lord has taught me about relationships, just through doing relationships with my daughter, with the people around me, with the world around me, with the internet world. And these are things, or even through scripture and through sermons and through other people's testimonies. And these are things that I just didn't learn about them. I apply them in my life, and I've realized how much they have impacted my life, and they have made my relationships better, and they have made me to show up in my relationships better, and they have improved my communication, they've improved my conflict resolution, they've improved the way I talk to others or the way I view situations. So I share these things with the hope that what I've learned will help another person out there, because relationships are a big part of our lives. We do relationships on a daily basis with ourselves, with the Lord, and with our neighbor or the people or the world around us. So today, I'll be continuing a conversation that I started with just a post online. And I wanted to elaborate further on this because I feel like this is something that affects all of us, but we are not aware that we are committing this sin on almost a daily basis. But just because we label it something else, we don't realize that we are committing the same sin that is being said in the Bible. So I shared this in the previous week, and I just wanted to elaborate it because I feel like it's big. It's something that I've done for years, and I didn't say it as the way it was until God called me out. So this is from Proverbs, Proverbs 20, verse 19, the Amplified Version. It says, "He who goes out about, sorry, he who goes about as a gossip reveals secrets. Therefore, do not associate with a gossip." And then it says in brackets, "who talks freely or flatters." So when we hear the word gossip, we're thinking about those people that slander others, that talk about others behind their back, that expose people's secrets. When you tell them something, they go and tell the other person or the other people or their friend groups or whatever. But just through doing relationships with the Lord, I've realized that we do gossip daily. We do gossip weekly under the context of venting. Sometimes you're upset with like your spouse, your partner, your daughter, your friend, or upset with someone in the community. And then you feel like, I need to get this off my chest. I need to talk to somebody about this. And then you call your friends, you call whoever and say, you won't believe this. And this is what he did to me. This is what this person said to me. But as long as you are talking about someone, mentioning them in a conversation, especially an unpleasant conversation, you are mentioning someone's name to someone else without their knowledge, and you are talking about something that you are not comfortable talking to them about, and something that you wouldn't talk about it with that person in their presence, it's gossip. If you have to talk to someone else instead of addressing it with them, it's gossip. So this is what happened in, I think it was December 2022. One of my friends went back home to Botswana. And this is someone that I'm very close to. And as I was doing relationships with my daughter, there were times where I'd be frustrated, just feeling like, man, it's difficult to parent a young adult. And we'll get into this friction, and I would call her saying like, help me understand this. This is what was going on. This is what we talked about, and this is what she said to me. Was I wrong? What did I say that that could have offended her? And then she'd say, well, I don't see anything wrong with what you said. And I'll just feel like justified that, okay, I didn't do anything wrong. If the other person also sees that I didn't say or do anything wrong, then I didn't do or say anything wrong. On the natural, it just seems okay. But so it was December, and this is a very close friend of mine, and my daughter knew that sometimes when we had fights or when we had a misunderstanding, I would go to this friend of mine, and she was the only person that I was free to talk to her about like our conflicts or our misunderstanding. And sometimes I would even say talk to Rabi, or sometimes I would tell my daughter that, oh, I told a friend of mine that we had this conversation, this is what she thinks. So it just seems like it's okay. But the Lord told me that this friend of mine was in Botswana, and she was about, I think she was just left with a week to come back home to Canada. And then the Lord said, I don't ever want you to mention anyone in a text, in a phone call, without their permission, without their consent, especially if you're talking about things that are unpleasant. And I was salty about that, because I knew who God was talking about, because I don't talk about anybody, because I'm isolated. I don't do life with a lot of people. So I knew what God was talking about. And I felt like, okay, now who am I going to talk to? Because I feel like the Lord wants me to take all this heat and then keep quiet about it. But what the Lord was teaching me was that if you are unpleasant with something, talk to me about it. Talk to the person about it. Learn to talk about difficult things to the person who has offended you. Now let's go back to what I was doing to my daughter by talking to my friend about the offense that took place when my friend was not there. What I was doing was that I am making her see my daughter the way I saw her when I was frustrated. I'm making her take sides with me to say, okay, what did I do wrong? So one thing that my daughter would say when through our conflicts or our misunderstanding would just say, well, you can say that, right? And she would say that to me in a frustrated way. And I would feel like, well, we've talked about this before. Like, I would say it with an attitude as well. And one day she said, Mama, like, sometimes you have the right things to say, but the way you say them. And I realized, oh, that's a breakthrough, that she is frustrated. Yes, sometimes I say things and she hears that, okay, yes, I hear mom saying this. She is right by doing this. But my attitude, the frustration that comes with it will block her from hearing what I wanted to hear. So I felt like, okay, so this is just a little thing that I can fix, that can actually like clear off our communication. So I wanted to share that just to say that sometimes we gossip daily, and we claim that we are venting. And this goes back to relationships. When we are doing relationships with people, with this we don't have, we are adults now. We don't have time to waste doing relationships with people who are not we are not called to. We don't have time to waste doing relationships with people who we are misaligned with. So the people that we are aligned with, the people that are in our life, we have to learn to do relationships with them and do relationships right, which means that we shouldn't do relationships with people and fear them, and be free to talk to them about certain things, and not, and feel like, okay, I can't even say this to her. If I say this to her, she's going to be defensive. Is going to cause conflicts. If we realize that, okay, I cannot talk to my daughter, I cannot talk to my partner about this thing, it's something that is sensitive to them, or is something that is going to trigger a memory in them, then what I do in those situations is that I talk to God about it. God, this is what is bothering me, and I want to talk to my daughter about this. I'll give an example about my daughter, because she's somebody that I do relationships with on a daily basis. I want to talk to my daughter about this, and I pray that you touch my heart, that you touch my lips, that you touch her ears, that you touch my ears, that you touch her heart, that you touch her lips, so that when I speak, she's able to hear what I am actually saying, and and we're able to have a resolve. So this has been the one of the greatest breakthroughs, just talking to the Lord, to ask him to prepare our hearts and our lips so that we are able to resolve this conflict. When you do that, you realize that even the most vicious conflict that we have with the person that you are doing life with, you if you do it like that, if you involve the Lord in it and you pray about it, and then God provides an opportunity to talk about it, and you are always talking from a place of love, not being defensive, not being offensive, you realize that you are able to resolve things, and there won't be any need to tell anyone about it. So the moment I realized that this works, then I stuck to it. And then the other thing is that before, like, even when I was in a relationship, like before I got born again, when I was in romantic relationships, if I got frustrated with someone, I would call one of my friends and say that I'm not happy with this. This is what he's doing, or I'm not happy with this. So the problem with that, even the problem with me venting to my friends about something that is frustrating me about my daughter, there will never be a resolve. She will never know how I'm experiencing her. That is frustrating me, because I'm not talking to her about it. I'm talking to somebody else who doesn't even know that, although I'm presenting the case to her as if I was the holy one, as if I was the one who was not offendable, I'm not even giving her the attitude. I'm not saying what I was saying to my daughter with the attitudes that I was saying to my daughter about, to help her say, well, you are right to say that, Matt. Maybe you could tone down your attitude. But sometimes we just say what we said. We don't say, well, I was saying it with this attitude. I was saying it with this facial expression, because our attitudes or our facial expressions say a lot. Even when we say, I love you, the word I love you will come out, but the way, the aggression, the attitude, and the facial expression will contradict what I'm saying. So that's what I wanted to share, that to say that sometimes we are gossiping on a daily basis. Even this goes even to people, to couples. If you are doing relationships with someone, if your partner is suffering from, like, let me say, depression, and or maybe they are going through a loss, maybe a business loss, or maybe it's a lady who's going through a loss, maybe they have had a miscarriage. If you are a partner and your partner is going through something difficult, and then you go and seek comfort from other people, those people don't have experience of what your partner is going through. So the person that you should talk to is someone who has gone through that similar experience. You reaching out, or you listening to their podcast, or you reading a book to find ways of how you can support your partner. So let me say, if you are a husband and your wife is going through just had a miscarriage. All of my friends, my cousin, my two friends have had miscarriages, but I've never had a miscarriage. But I was there to support them. And they've expressed that, like, the way they would mourn the loss is different from the way their husbands or their partners would mourn the loss. Because after, like, maybe a few 6 weeks, the partner would feel like, okay, yeah, we had a loss. Let's go ahead. Let's do the activities that couples do. But for them, they'll be feeling like, no, my body is not there yet. My body is still, like, coming down. My body is still, like, going through the process and reverting back to its normalcy. I'm not there yet. But the partner will not understand. So if that partner doesn't understand, and they go and talk to their friends about it, or they go to talk to their mama about it, or talk to somebody about it, that person, there's nothing that person can help them. The best thing that partner can do is to go online. There is a wealth of knowledge online to learn about things that other painful things that other people have gone through, that you can learn from, and then you can get ways to support your partner, and then you go and support your partner. There is no use, or it doesn't help, to go and talk to someone else who has never gone through that thing, someone else who will just, like, pat you on the back and comfort you. If they are comforting you, when you go back and your partner is still struggling, you wouldn't know how to comfort your partner. You feel like, okay, let's get over this already. Why? Because you get a burden from them, and then you go and get comforted somewhere else, and then you go back to the same place. So in order to fix that thing, do it together, work it together. And the last thing is that, for us singles, I feel like we can learn a lot from other people who have gone through a lot of things through their relationships online or through books and everything, so that we allow God to develop our character, we allow God to develop our integrity, we allow God to truly develop us and sharpen us through other people that we do life with on a daily basis, so that by the time we get spouses, we are ready. We know how to do conflict resolution. We know how to protect them and to cover them. And we are able, when we say that my husband is my best friend, excuse me, when I say my husband is my best friend, or someone excuse me, excuse me, Lord. When I say my husband is my best friend, when I say my wife is, for those, for men, when they say my wife is my best friend, they truly mean it, knowing that this is the only person that has full access to me. This is the only person that I have full access to, and I'm comfortable to share everything that I need to share to anyone, knowing that they will cover me, they will support me, they will encourage me. But if I'm doing life with you, and then you have a set of friends that where you find comfort, where you comfortable discussing things that I don't know about, that is, I feel like that is not right. So that is why I was just sharing this about gossip, just to say that gossip is anything that we're talking, that we are using someone's name in their absence without their permission, and we are talking about things that we wouldn't talk about them, about that thing, in their presence, and especially to that person. Because after we vent, or after we talk about other people with other people, I don't go home and say, oh, by the way, I just so you know, I was talking to so and so about this about you. They would say, okay, why didn't you talk to me about it first? Why would you go and talk about our business to other people? So I wanted to share that, just with the correction that this is something that we do on a daily basis. When we get frustrated in our relationships, romantic relationships, spiritual relationships, we go and vent to other people. We go and talk about it to other people, instead of, if it's someone that is out of my reach, or if someone is in the internet, but I feel like what they are saying is not right, talk to God about it. If they are not there for you to correct something, talk to God about it. Or even say it in the comments in love and in spirit, to say, I don't know about that, I hear you in that matter, but I also want to add that, and then you indirectly correct them, because we are children of God. Nobody knows everything. We can correct each other in love, not slandering each other, but correcting each other in love. I wanted to share that, brothers and sisters, with the hope that this will help someone's relationship, with the hope that this will help someone's friendship. Just to say that for us to do relationships well, there has to be open communication. We have to be free with each other, and realize that if there's something that is frustrating me about this person, the only person that I should talk to about it is them, or God and us, the two of us. There's no need for me to go and talk about someone else, about my person, or about my daughter, about my partner, about my mom, about anyone that I'm doing life with. There's no need for me to go and talk to someone else about it, someone that doesn't even have an experience of what I'm talking about. So I wanted to share that, brothers and sisters, to say, let's go do the work. It is work. Relationships are work. But as long as we are committed to doing the work in order to have the right relationships, we can do it. God bless us all. And I'll see you in the next video.